Hi, welcome to episode 2 of Little Cricket's Big Podcast, and I'm your host, Cricket. Last week was my very first episode. I got about 54 views, a few comments. I haven't looked at the analytics to see if people naturally found me or if they came through my link, but all my friends watched last week and that really meant a lot, and I got a few comments and stuff. And if you're new, hi, I'm Cricket, like I said. I'm podcasting from Western North Carolina. And I'm about 5 minutes from the Tennessee border. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, and I'm going to magically put it across the bottom of the screen, but I'm Little Cricket with an underscore. And on Ravelry, if that's a safe spot for you to be right now, I'm not Little Cricket. And when I say not, I mean not. So just a few housekeeping things before I really get started. My husband is home today. He works from home right now because of COVID. Last week he had to be at the office. So this week he's home. He only has to be at the office every 4 or 5 weeks. So he's actually in the kitchen right now, on the phone. He's an IT analyst. So if you can hear him, ignore him like I do. But I've got the door closed. I'm in my craft room. I've got the door closed, so we shouldn't be able to hear him too much. At least a dull roar. And if you hear something that sounds like literally the howling of the damned, it's the wind, and I can't do anything about that. I didn't look at how hard the wind is blowing, but we have a full-on wind advisory, so I live in a 100-year-old I live in a 100-year-old house, what am I gonna do? And I think that's everything, housekeeping-wise. So let's just get started. I do have a lot of stuff from, obviously, before the podcast, because I've been knitting for about 2 or 3 years now. So I just wanted to, show and tell a few things that I'm particularly proud of. And I mentioned this last week, but I knit stuff for my wedding, which was back in September. And I can't pronounce the name of this yarn, but I'm going to do my best. But this is my wedding shawl. And if I was a good person, I would have looked up the name of this shawl. But I'll put it at the bottom of the screen. But I know it's by Amba O'Brien, and it's just a million yarn overs, and it comes to these points. It's a big rectangle with pointed ends. I wore it like this over my dress, and at the end I'll put in some, well, that looks quite nice. I'll put in some pictures from the wedding, but not for any particular reason, but I guess I'm a pretty modest person, and even though my dress had short sleeves, I still wanted to be covered, and I wanted some knitwear, to be a part of the wedding. And this is always going to be my wedding shawl. One of my aunts, she said, "Oh, you should put that in a shadow box." I'm not going to put it in a shadow box. I'm going to wear it. You don't knit something that you're not going to wear. But anyway, she means well. And it's really pretty. So the bright mustard here, which is my favorite color, is Pollen by Hedgehog Fibers. It's their sock base. I'm really, really into Hedgehog Fibers. And Malabrigo Rios. I'm choking myself to death. Okay, live on my podcast. And then the speckled, or maybe it's more variegated than speckles, is, and I'm going to butcher this name, Araquanian? And I can only think Araquan from the Three Caballeros. I don't know, it's a cartoon from the 40s. I don't know if anyone's seen it. It's on Disney Plus. But the Three Caballeros, it's like Donald and a couple of parrots, and they're talking all about South America and stuff. And then there's a bird called the Araquan, and he's kind of wild. He's like, and goes around. and all I can think is Araquan, and I've looked it up before, and it's not Araquanian, but it is, and it's the Huasco sock, and this is in the Toko Toucan colorway. I think it's really pretty. I actually based our whole wedding colors off this yarn, because when I first started crocheting, I got this at Oh Susanna's on Main in Morganton, which is a local yarn shop in Morganton, North Carolina, and I thought it was the perfect little mashup of me and Ty. And then when it came time to plan our wedding, and everyone's like, your colors, and I'm like, I don't know. I remembered this yarn, and I got myself some more. I had to find it on Etsy. I don't know if it's discontinued or just kind of hard to find, but I got it on Etsy. And then I just faded in Pollen, which is like my favorite hedgehog fibers colorway. It was leftovers from a flax light, so I'm gonna toss that over there. And then I actually made his bow tie out of the same yarn, and it looks different obviously because it's in stockinette, but it's really pretty, and he looked really cute in it. He was really into it. He wears bow ties normally. Anyway, he doesn't really like long ties. He's more of a bow tie person. You can tell we're really into Doctor Who. But yeah, I actually made this bow tie pattern up, kind of. I looked at a bow tie pattern on Ravelry, and it was a little more, I don't know, a little more than what I wanted to get into. So I provisionally cast on one end, I can't tell which end, and then I just knit up as long as I needed to, Kitchenered the end, and then I kind of did the same thing for this part and whip stitched it in the back. And by the time I did this, because I was putting off everything, I didn't have enough time to get him actual like hardware, so he just had a ribbon, and his friends got it tied on for him that morning. I thought it was sweet. This is shadow box worthy. He's not gonna probably wear this a whole lot more. I have it tied to a lamp in our living room. I don't know. That's it for show and tell. I do have one finished object. It was going to be a whip last week, and I don't know if anyone noticed. I wouldn't have, but there was a dinosaur project bag sitting right here, and I never mentioned it or grabbed it, and that's because I forgot a whip. But this was a whip last week, and it's just a 2x2 ribbed beanie. And I'll talk about my row 1 minis in a second, because I realized I wasn't very clear on what that is. But I basically took half my little mini skeins and held it double with some Knit Picks palette, which is just a nice, good budget yarn. I use it whenever I make my fingerless mittens and stuff. But I use the white color, and I just marled it, and I didn't have enough minis. I kind of had wanted it to like be able to fold up. I mean, this would make a good kid's hat, but I don't have a kid. I want one. But yeah, I wanted it to be able to fold up, but you know, that's not going to happen with this. What I did is, with my litmus cowl, I took and I made like one big like mystery self-striping ball, and I attached the ends together, and I can show later, not today, how I do that. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. Let me see. I'm not extremely precious about my hair, but yeah, I think it's cute. It's not, I wouldn't say it's exactly my color palette. I like autumnal stuff, but this is really nice and warm. So this was kind of improvised. I did this on 2.5 needles. I don't really know why. I just finished my sock head and was like, I need to get my use out of these 2.5 needles. So I did that. It made for a nice kind of dense fabric, but it hurt my hands a lot. So I think I'd size up to a 3 if I was gonna do this again. But it made, look at that squish. So nice. But yeah, I did 2.5 needles. And I used the numbers from Pearl Soho's, I guess it's free. I wouldn't have paid for it. Yeah, it's free. Pearl Soho's Classic Ribbed Hat. And like I said, I just used the numbers from that and did 2x2 because that's a 1x1. And then I did the decreases for the Watchman's cap. I just did the decreases for those. And yeah, nice little hat. This would be good for gifts and stuff, like I said, if I sized up. I'm burping. I had Mountain Dew earlier. I just had lunch. Alright, let's get into what I'm wearing. So I'm wearing my Weekender. I said that I would wear it last week, and I made good on my promise. So yeah, this is the Weekender. It's by Andrea Mowry. It's a bottom-up pattern, worsted weight. I did this in Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool, which, like I said last week, is a really good budget yarn. It has like a, not really rustic, but just kind of like a little grab to it. It's not like wearing a hair shirt, but it is, you know, if you're a little precious about what you wear, I don't know if this would be the best for you. And I mean, it's not a big investment, but it's a great big ball if you get it and don't like it. I like it. I can wear it. I've worn it under, like, with a long sleeve shirt under it, but I'm wearing it skin to skin right now, and it doesn't feel bad. My husband, I always like to smell yarn, and I'll make him do it, and he said it smelled really horsey when it came in. So, you know, it's real wool. I don't think it smells horsey anymore. I kind of miss that smell. But, yeah, so this is the oak tweed colorway, and it's the natural color of the wool. It's just a nice kind of gray-y brown and like a cream color. And the modifications I did to this is I made the body a little bit longer. Miss Andrea Mowry, she really likes her crops, I think, and that's fine. But I don't. I wanted the whole sweater, so I lengthened it a little, and you know, the Lion Brand, it comes in like a big old log of it, so you know, I have plenty of room to do that. And instead of 9s and 8s, the body is supposed to be in 9s and the ribbing is supposed to be in 8s. I actually did 8s for the body and the ribbings in 7s. I actually did swatch because I don't really like to go above an 8. It was nice and drapey, sure, but I felt like it was a little too, like, not see-through, but I didn't like the fabric I was getting, and I don't know, I've been knitting long enough that I can kind of hit the button and make those executive decisions not to knit it on 9, so I didn't. I knit it on 8s, and I knit the 44-inch size. And I mentioned last week that I like to talk about what jewelry people are wearing. I was wearing some earrings earlier. I'll hold them up. They started hurting my ears, so I took them out. But these are, and it's not gonna focus. Why would it when I need it to? But these are little cicada earrings. ModCloth sometimes has these, but these are just knockoff ones from eBay. So if you type in cicada earrings on eBay, you too can have these out of focus beauties. And I'm wearing my Kendra Scott cat eye slate necklace and my Walmart wedding ring. I did want to mention my glasses, so they're a little unique. So I got these on Firmoo, and it's one of those internet glasses companies. So here's your money saving tip for the week. email your eye doctor and tell them that you want your prescription. And if you're nice, they'll give it to you. I mean, I think legally they have to give it to you, but say please, you know. And then buy your glasses online because they're a lot cheaper. I got these for free, actually. The glasses that I normally wear, it was like a buy one, get one free deal because they have sales all the time. They'll just give you a pair of glasses and they're prescription, and they're nice, they're high quality glasses. I really like these. I'll look up what they all have names and I'll put it down here. But they're unique and they're really nice. I just never wear them because I don't know, I'm not confident enough to wear them in public. But I am confident enough to put them out on the internet. But they're cute. I got them because I don't know if anyone else has watched Lost, but one of my favorite characters, Sawyer, he really likes to read. And in the first season, he's reading and he realizes he's getting a headache when he reads, and they're like, "You need glasses." So they find all the eyeglasses in the wreckage of the plane and like melt them together, and one's kind of weird and the other one's like a circle, so they're like mismatched. So I got those because I really like Sawyer, but I never wear them. I should wear them to work and see what those wonderful people say. And I mean customers, not my coworkers. They're awesome. Okay, stash acquisitions. And even though it seems like I'm getting new yarn every week, I won't have stash acquisitions every week. But I did want to talk a little bit about what Row One is. And this isn't sponsored. She does sponsor other people, but not me, because I'm on episode 2. No one's ever heard of me. But basically, you get pre-wound minis every month. So like these, I'm not going to take this off right now, but these are just, they're good to go. It's what I knit my Coziest Memories blanket with. And if you're doing a Coziest Memories, it only takes half of one of these to make a square. So the other half, and I toss that into the universe, but the other half you can use for whatever, and that's what I used to make my hat with. It was just half of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, half of 6 of these. And you get 8, and they're really nice. They're always from like an indie dyer. This is Buku Yarns. She's really sweet. Let me see. Yeah, so I actually ordered a skein of this charming man here. And God, nothing wants to focus. Why would it? It just wants my big old pumpkin head. Okay, but I don't know if you can see, but it's a really nice, like medium gray, and it's got like dark blue speckles in it, and it looks exactly like something he would like. And whenever I opened this, I said, "Oh honey, it looks just like you." And he said, "Why? Because I'm going gray." I still bought him a skein of it anyway to make him socks with. He's grateful for everything. He's a sweet guy. But yeah, this is what he does for me every month. He gets me this. He has all year. And yeah, Buku Yarns, you should check her out. All of her colorways are named after songs, and it was kind of cool for me and him to go through and be like, "Oh, I know that song," or more often, "I don't know that song." And like, "This is Purple Rain," and like, "That's by Prince." And that's cute. And the other good thing I like about Row One, and I like goodies, but I'm not gonna throw a fit if I don't get a goodie, but you get a little treat. I love these. You get some Biscoff, so good, and you get some tea, and you just dip your Biscoff in your tea, and it's just decadence. But you also get a little stitch marker that kind of goes along with either whatever the little theme of the month is, or kind of close to the dyer. And this month we got a little music note, because all of her stuff is music based, and I think that's nice. Yeah, so I love Row One. Sponsor me. The next thing I got is some Lemonade Shop. And I really like the lady from the lemonade shop. I think her name is Heather. My best friend's name is Heather. Hi, Heather. Hope you're having a good day at work, because I know you're going to watch this on your lunch break. Right. But, lemonade shop, she's fantastic. Look how pretty, and I feel like everyone knows lemonade shop by now, but this is Stormy Day. And a few weeks ago, maybe even last month, Hobby Lobby decided to rear its ugly head and, oh, we have hand-dyed merino wool, and it looked exactly like Heather's colorways. And Heather said, not my best friend, lemonade shop Heather. And Heather said, oh, I'm not the only one who does stuff like that. But she is probably the biggest indie dyer that does stuff like this. So, you know, it's a little devastating when, like, some bully of a big box store just comes in and is like, here's $15, just pay $15 and you can have this. And you're not going to get the quality out of what you'd get from the lemonade shop, you know? And another thing, it says that they're all like hand-dyed in India, and that's fine, but you don't know if Hobby Lobby is paying those women a living wage. And there are plenty of dyers, and I can't think of any names, but I remember a Christy Glass video where she was in Norway or somewhere. And the dyer employed like native indigenous women and paid them a living wage, and it was great, but like Hobby Lobby doesn't do that. You know they don't do that. So a bunch of us banded together and overwhelmed Heather with orders of her yarn. I wanted to support her. I have other lemonade shop in my stash, and it's really pretty. I'm kind of saving it for a rainy day, but I really wanted to cast on socks with this, but I saved it so I could show it to you guys. But yeah, check Heather out, and don't, I mean, I will try to stop buying fabric from Hobby Lobby. I really will. I don't like stuff like that, but sometimes I feel consumed by, it's easy to go to Hobby Lobby and get what you need. Like, I'm kind of used to buying, like, you know, I buy a lot of commercial yarn, but I also try to buy a lot of indie yarn. But like with fabric, I don't really have the budget to get like indie fabric. So it's the simplicity of just going to Hobby Lobby is something I'm trying to break. But don't go to Hobby Lobby and buy indie dyed yarn, because it's not. Support small businesses. And I'm gonna get off that soapbox, and Heather's really overwhelmed by orders right now. Miss Lemonade Shop, not my best friend. She's really overwhelmed by orders, I think, but, you know, be patient. This took a little while to get in, but, you know, this is food on her table, and Hobby Lobby, it's just pennies in their coffers. But, like I said, I like goodies, and she sent along a little stitch marker, and she didn't have to do that because she got like 1 million orders in those days where everyone was like, Hobby Lobby. And I wish somebody would come up with a sock pattern called Hobby Lobby. I would knit it out of this color. I'm too lazy to do it. And then the last thing I got is so I don't know if any of you guys like get on Facebook groups or whatever, but I'm in one, and it's called A Real Yarn Destash, and I think that I'm pretty sure that means like it's all wool and nicer yarn in there, because I'm in a few destash groups, and it's a lot of Red Heart, but you know, there's nothing wrong with Red Heart for blankets and stuff. But so I'd never heard of this dyer. She's called the Wool Palette, and I've actually looked at her stuff. It's really pretty, it's really nice. But this is some yarn that she naturally dyed using black walnuts. And she said she doesn't actually sell her naturally dyed yarn in her shop because it's, I guess the process is more than she could sell, you know? Like it would be too expensive for anyone to buy because the craftsmanship of it is so intensive. But yeah, I got this for a really good deal. I got 9 skeins of it. And I'm just gonna be honest and say how much I paid. I got 9 skeins of this for $75, which is about how much I pay for like a Malabrigo Rios sweater quantity, but not 9 skeins of it. Like 6 is what I usually do. And if all these skeins were, this is over 1,500 yards. If all these skeins were full price at like $24-ish, it would be $219 worth of sweater. So I got a really good deal there. But it's just like a really nice, light, kind of camely brown. And I think she said that she had made it for a personal project that she just didn't sing to her, so she decided to sell it, and I'm really thankful for the deal. You should check her shop out. It's on Etsy. It's called The Wool Palette, and it's really pretty stuff. I do have plans for this. I originally wanted to make a cabled sweater, like a fisherman's, like on the boat, old salt. I would love to be an old fisherman. Like, that's the dream. But I was gonna make like an Irish fisherman's sweater and fisherman's wool. But cables are really intimidating to me, and I don't know why, because they're apparently really simple. And they are really simple. I've watched videos. It's just one of those things where I don't really feel like learning the skill, and that's fine. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. I don't have any pressure put on me by the knitting gods to knit a cabled sweater if I don't want to right now. So I actually found a sweater pattern called Sumac, and it's by Orlaine Souchet. I didn't say her name right. She's French, and I'm not really good at French. But I have another one of her sweaters, and it's called the Aviro sweater, and it's really pretty. But this is like a Gansey style kind of sweater. It's got a lot of texture, and it's just like knits and purls and slip stitches, which is totally in my wheelhouse. So once I get some of the other sweaters and crap I want out of the way, I'm really excited to work with a naturally dyed yarn. So yeah, well, I just bumped the tripod. Okay, let's talk about whips. I have a new cast on this week that I'll talk about. I'm not going to show my weekender with my Malabrigo Rios because I didn't really get any meaningful progress done on it. I worked on it a little while yesterday, but not enough to show. So I have a lot of leftovers from Malabrigo because I knit a lot of my sweaters out of Malabrigo. And I found this really pretty pattern called the Black River Blanket Shawl. And I have it, these are kind of on Savers, but it's a top-down triangular shawl. And it's supposed to look like, Hudson Bay blankets. They're solid, and then they have stripes along the edge. Well, I have leftovers, so I'm doing stripes along the whole thing. And this is supposed to be knit on 9s, and I'm not gonna knit anything on 9s. I don't want to. I'm gonna knit it on 8s. So yeah, this is Ivy. This is Natural. This is Glitter. And this over here is Frank Ochre. And what I do, because I have 3 projects that are on 8s right now, what I do is I have a high sharp interchangeable needle set, and it's got, so you can put in a lifeline, and I just put a stitch marker through the lifeline holes. And that saves everything when I have to switch needles around. But yeah, like I've got just like a million skeins, half skeins in here. I had started, and let's talk a little bit about ergonomics real quick. I had started these on a pair of fixed size 8s, and look how long these are. I love working on size 8s. I work on size 8s, you know, when I do worsted weight hats, whenever I'm making dishcloths, and for some reason these 32-inch size 8s were hurting my hands and hurting my shoulder right in here. All the difference was made whenever I switched to my interchangeable needle set, and you know, those tips are only like that long. So you know, you really have to kind of play around and figure out what's gonna like work best for you, because I knit my very first sweater on this exact same pair of straights, and I don't really remember hurting, but it must not have been very comfortable, because I remember I knit it shorter than I needed it to be. And I don't know if I wasn't comfortable or just over it, but yeah, just figure out what works best for you, and it could be that you can find a shorter tip and feel better at a certain gauge. But yeah, that's my Black River blanket shawl. I made a little bit of progress on my husband's Christmas sweater. I actually put a progress marker in, and this is also on Savers. Let's see here. Yeah, so I made about an inch of progress, and that's because I started my Black River blanket shawl and got really excited about it and only kind of worked on that. So I think this week I need to really high gear it and put some more work on his sweater. Yeah. Another reason why I didn't work on it more is I got to the end of a skein and I just didn't feel like coming in here and winding up more. So yeah. And then, and I don't have a whole lot of really whips to show, because I worked the most on my Black River blanket shawl, because sometimes whenever you cast on something you just get really excited and that's all you want to work on, and that's all I did, you know. But yeah, the last thing I'm gonna show is just what I've done with my Coziest Memories blanket, and I totally lied last week and said it was just the Cozy Memory blanket, and that's not true. It's the Coziest Memory blanket by Kemper Ray, who is a indie dyer in North Carolina. So yeah, I put three squares on this week, and I have one square left to finish out my row for November, so I'm still ahead. This is some Halloween yarn that I got a few years ago and just never finished the socks for, and then this year I pulled the socks back out, realized I don't really think that I want like full length, mostly white socks, so I pulled them out. I think I'll make some shorty socks in the summer with these, but it's called Ghostface, and it's a reference to Scream, which is one of my favorite horror movies. So it's got like some light black and red and white, and that's by Crafty Mama Designs on Etsy. And I kind of looked at her shop to see if I got her name right, and she's not dying right now, so sorry if you love Ghostface, but maybe she'll come back. And this is another Row 1 mini. It's by Crab Apple Yarns. It's called Foxwhelp. I don't know how well you can see, but it's a cream base, and it's got like some burnt orange and like either like a really dark navy or like a dusty kind of black. And this is Plum Crabby, also by Crab Apple Yarns, and I kind of got a little mushroom stitch marker there. So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I kind of tried to do fall or Halloween stuff for these past 2 rows, so I'm hoping that I can eke one more out so I can finish up the rows and then start December's stuff. And I think, unless I forgot something, I think that's all I have to show today. So let's talk about movies. So last week I recommended Hell House LLC, which is a found footage movie. I know at least one person watched it because they messaged me about it and said that they really liked it. And then I didn't think that we were going to watch any horror movies this week. We really like to watch any kind of movie, really, especially ones that we've never seen before that are pretty famous. So we watched From Russia with Love, which is the second James Bond movie. My husband got us the whole James Bond collection after Sean Connery died. Because I like Sean Connery, but the only thing I knew him from was Indiana Jones's daddy in the 3rd Indiana Jones movie. So it's kind of cool to see him like being like young and competent, because I don't know if you guys have seen Indiana Jones, you better have, but he's kind of a silly daddy in Indiana Jones 3, and I can't remember the subtitle. And then we watched RoboCop, and we'd never watched RoboCop. We've watched Terminator together, but we watched RoboCop, and it's really violent. It's really violent. It's really gory. That doesn't bother me, but I was like really surprised. I don't know if you've ever seen RoboCop, but give it a watch, because my God, they didn't pull any punches on RoboCop. And then this week, I kind of have 2 movie recommendations, because I'll tell you the one that I was gonna recommend, and then we ended up watching a movie last night that I have to recommend. So what I was gonna recommend is called The Black Coat's Daughter. It's also called February. It was released at like a film festival under the name February, but it's got a more like wide release as Black Coat's Daughter, and that's what you'll find it under. It's a 2015 movie that stars Kieran Shipka from of Sabrina fame, Lucy Boynton, I hope I said her name right, and Emma Roberts. And I heard that Sabrina got canceled, which is a little sad. And if you want more Kieran Shipka, definitely check out Black Coat's Daughter, because it's about the devil and just girls and the devil. I don't know what it is. It's a really pretty movie, like cinematography wise, really good plot. I don't know if other people have this, but I have like comfort movies that I can watch like again and again and again and again and never get tired of. And Black Coat's Daughter is one of those comfort movies. My comfort movies, if anyone's curious, is Black Coat's Daughter, 10 Cloverfield Lane, and Coraline. I could turn those on at any given day and just have the time of my life. So that's on Netflix, and you can go and enjoy that. But I was on Instagram, and sometimes I fall for those ads. And it was a girl that was like, we just watched something and now we're sad. And so I got on this app called Likewise, and it recommended me some new stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll check that out, because apparently it was free, and it was. So I downloaded Likewise and kind of put in some stuff that I liked. Like I put in Lost, and I think I put a James Bond movie in. Just it asks you, what movies that you like and shows that you like, so it can, through an algorithm, recommend you stuff. And the first thing that it recommended me was Hell House, which kind of gave me a laugh, because I That's what I recommended y'all last week. But then it recommended me the new Blumhouse movie, which is called Black Box. And even though I kind of on Blumhouse's Fantasy Island last week, I really like Blumhouse in general. They got a good studio on their shoulders, you know, they got a lot of good production value. So Black Box, I can't tell you the director because I didn't look it up. I kind of just, we watched it late last night and I was just like, I'll mention that. But it's on Amazon Prime and it's free. And that's my recommendation for the week. So, and Blackcoat's Daughter. But if you're tired of white girls, check out Black Box. So I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about. I went a little over what I went last week. So, peace. I swear to God, I don't try to add another clip on the end of all these videos. But I forgot to say what you're supposed to say at the end of every video if you're on YouTube, which is, if you liked this video, leave me a comment, click subscribe, click the like button. It really helps me out. So there's my spiel. Goodbye again.